Hi, I'm Damon Frank, and you're listening to The Recovered Life Show, and this is an episode of How I Did It. Every episode, I talk with someone in recovery about how they've been able to stay sober. We dive into what their life in addiction was like and what their life in sobriety is like now. Remember, addiction is a life-threatening condition, and the information in this episode is provided as a resource only and is not to be used or relied on for any diagnostic or treatment purposes. This is not a substitute when professional diagnosis or treatment is needed. Now, let's jump into the discussion and find out how they did it. I'd like to welcome you to the show. Why don't we start out by introducing yourself, tell us your name, what addiction you suffer from, and how long you've been sober.
My name is David Anderson. I'm a certified peer recovery specialist, and I've been sober going on 5 years, July 18th. My DOC was alcohol, and I'd love to have an opportunity to tell my story.
So when you look back, when was the first time that you noticed a problem?
So looking back, the first time I realized that I really had a problem was when the mother of my child had given me a ultimatum of quit drinking or I lose her and my daughter in my house. And I chose alcohol and the wrong path, unfortunately.
So tell us a little bit about your life growing up. Did you have members of your family that suffered from addiction? Did you identify early on that maybe you were different from your friends and people around you? Maybe you can share a story or an experience or a memory with us about your childhood.
So the most prominent memory I have was when I was young. I was getting ready to graduate from a DARE program, and I got home from school. I was super excited to graduate from this DARE program. So I was like, I need to get ready to go. I need to get my finest clothes on and look my best for this and get in the shower and stuff like that. Well, my dad had another idea of me doing the dishes. And I was like, no, Dad, I got to get ready. I got to get ready. Well, he kept telling me no. And eventually it got to a point where he was like slamming me into the sink. So I had like bruises across my chest. And then he at one point had brought me into the bedroom, grabbed me by my neck, threw me up on the top bunk, grabbed me from the top bunk, threw me into the bottom bunk, kicked the bunk bed. It had fallen on me. And this was a heavy bunk bed. It was like one of the old wood ones, like big heavy wood ones. And when that had happened, he picked it up off me, apologized, and then went out in the living room. But it was a very superficial, like, I'm sorry. And then went out in the living room. Well, then my teacher had showed up to pick me up to go to the DARE program because my dad didn't drive. And when that had happened, I'd opened the door a crack and was screaming, Dad, I hate you. Dad, I hate you. And stuff like that. And my teacher had called my DARE officer. And before I knew it, there was cops, firefighters, ambulance, social workers, child protection, all at our house. And then from that day forward is when I got taken from my dad. For the rest of my life. I mean, we stayed in contact and stuff like that. He was allowed to see us, but very rarely did until we were adults and could bring ourselves to see him. That's the most prominent, though.
I would love it if you could share with us what happened. You know, what happened to your life as a result of addiction? What did your life become, and how did you live your life day to day?
Well, growing up, I had struggled a lot with mental health and substance abuse. So I started drinking with my friends a lot. And then it became more of like drinking to self-medicate. But where I'm at today because of it is I'm in a much better place. My life has become amazing. I've been working on my mental health a lot, doing transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS. I go to a talk therapist twice a week and trying to make the best life I can have. My dad actually had passed away on one of my sober dates. So that was a very big thing that has been in the back of my mind is that life can be taken from me at any time. Life is short. I'm a certified peer recovery specialist now, and I work in a small treatment facility in a small town in Minnesota. We do outpatient and substance abuse or outpatient treatment for substance abuse and mental health disorders. What else? I have a daughter and I have my own place. I get along with the mother of my child amazing now after our breakup, due to me using substances. Uh, yeah, I couldn't ask for a better life. I have a great support system. Life is great.
So let's go back to your bottom with addiction. What was going through your head the day that you decided to get sober? Did you make a decision? Was it challenging? Tell us what you were feeling and why ultimately you made that decision to try to get sober.
So I'm in the military, and my bottom was I was dating a toxic woman, and she kept telling me to kill myself, and she hoped I die, and was super toxic. I couldn't do anything. My military, every time I'd show up to drill, it was always I'm screwing somebody, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, and getting accused. So I ended up just drinking, and I tried to come back in the main gate, drunk, and they had pulled me over, and I ended up resisting arrest, and they took me to jail. And then the next day when I woke up, I had just made the decision. I said, this is not the life for me anymore. It was a very easy decision. I couldn't live that way. My daughter deserves better. I deserve better. I couldn't, I was risking losing my military career. So I just made the choice that I need to do something different. And from then on is where I stuck with it. And I quit cold turkey. I started going to AANA open group all by myself. I wasn't court ordered. I got a DA. I got into treatment, outpatient treatment, where I stayed for relapse prevention. I stayed for a year and a week, and it's only like a 30-day program. And then they kind of had kicked me out. The company I was going to treatment in kind of kicked me out, per se, because they wanted me to work for them. So that's where I'm at today. But it was a very easy decision. It was, do I want to live this life? Or do I want to end up like my dad? Or do I want to give my daughter an amazing life, give myself an amazing life, and the people around me, they deserve the best me possible as well. And it's been extremely beneficial. It's been the best thing I've ever done in my life.
After you decided to get sober, what did you do? What actions did you take? I'd love it if you could discuss your first month of sobriety. What worked for you? What didn't?
So I joined at first I had went onto my social media to the community page, and I had posted AA groups around me, and if anybody could point me in the right direction. And I had an overwhelming amount of people, telling me where to go. So it was really cool. And then I decided to start going to this AANA open group, which was right down the road from my house. I walked in and had never felt more welcome. And I just kind of hit it off from there. And that's where I had stayed. As far as things not working, I don't know. I tried to do some of the 12 steps, but I wasn't a really religious person at the time due to a lot of the things that had happened in my life. And I just picked and chose the things of the 12 steps that I felt were like the most important, that were going to have the biggest impact on my sobriety. And I just started doing them. And it really seemed to have helped, as well as like focusing on the why. Why am I self medicating? Why am I drinking so much? Like, what can I do different to have a better outcome? And I had made that decision to start working on my mental health, and things had never been better. It was very easy from there to not want to drink. And then I'd also worked in a bar part time on weekends, bouncing and bar backing. So seeing people that were really struggling with substance abuse was helpful as well, because I didn't want to be that guy anymore. So that was a big part of it as well. I still struggle with a lot of the mental health stuff. So there was, while I was trying to heal and get better and healthy, that was still a lot of the struggles of that I was having to stay sober. So I did want to drink a lot, and I never did. I always reached out. That's what worked the best. I didn't try many things. I just, like I said, I made a choice to be sober and give myself and my daughter a better life. And I just hit the ground running with it. The first month was pink cloud, I would say, for sure. But I still have my ups and downs with struggles with the depression and everything.
So, what's it like now? Now that you're sober, tell us some things that have happened as a result of you being in recovery.
Now that I'm sober, I've gained friends, family back. I've been repairing my reputation. Life has been great. I see my daughter all the time. I have an amazing relationship with the mother of my child. I don't know. I just couldn't ask for a better life. The things I can do now are limitless. I get to go speak to kids and try to help give back to my community. I'm a certified peer recovery specialist, so I do the Family Resource Center one day a week. I get to go into the county jail here, and I get to speak to people and try to make a difference there, which is really cool because a lot of the people I went to school with or that I know just from around town, I get to see and help. What else can I do? I mean, like I said, it's been limitless. People have been reaching out, wanting to hear my story, wanting me to talk. I've done another podcast recently. When I get on TikTok lives and I try to help people and expand my reach to give back to the world. Some things that are amazing that have happened in my life are, getting that relationship back with the mother of my daughter, to be able to co-parent extremely well, being able to get this job and making some of the connections that I have throughout my recovery has been probably the most amazing thing that's come up in my life.
What would be your advice to someone that is deciding whether they should get sober? Someone might be listening to this right now and they're on the fence about if they can do it. Should they get sober? Should they try? Maybe they've tried and it hasn't worked. What advice would you give to them?
My advice to anyone trying to get sober is to do it. Try to get sober. Think of what your life is like now, and think of what your life could be like outside of the things that are kind of holding you back and holding you down. Everything is worth a try and a good strong effort. Your family loves you. You have people around you that love and care about you, whether you believe it or not. Getting sober is the best thing you can do for yourself. Find a driving force, or just make a decision on something that's going to hold you accountable, whether it be your kids, your family, yourself, your health and well-being, and just hold that dear to you and do it. Make the decision to get sober, be sober, and never give up. Never give up on it. Even if you fall, get back up and keep going, and always strive to do and be better and healthier. Adapt and overcome. Only you can control the outcome of the situations in your life. If you're saying that, life sucks and life is this and life is that, well, you can control the outcomes of that. It doesn't have to suck so bad. You can make choices with the outcome of the situation. It could be a tough situation, but just mentally thinking like, hey, what have I learned in this situation? What good can I take from this? How can I do and be better tomorrow instead of falling back into the same routine? Just finding the good things and the positive things in everything that happens, and use it to continue to drive you forward into your recovery.
Hey, if you like this episode, think about supporting us by becoming a Recovered Life Plus member. At Recovered Life TV, we're not just delivering premium recovery resources, we're empowering you with the knowledge and tools that make a real difference in the quality of your recovery. By subscribing, you gain access to ad-free content, expert insights, exclusive video and audio segments, special projects, plus so much more, all while supporting our mission to spread the recovery message far and wide. Whether you're seeking to deepen your understanding or stay updated on the latest addiction and mental health recovery trends, Recovered Life Plus is for you. Subscribe now and start living your best recovered life. Just go to recoveredlife.tv and become a Plus member today.